Hey there. I guess I just couldn't leave this one alone. Okay. As I put up on my Facebook page, Jokers are wild. They're AWOL now, absent without leave. It's it is much like Octelli said. It's a buffoonery system, right? Because uh, they can't help themselves now. In other words, there's so much light that's coming in here now that uh, they can't help but expose what it is that they are, which is naturally going to come out of the woodwork, which means now they can't help themselves. So it's making it obvious to everybody that even if you had basic common sense or any logic about you, you'd realize to use French parts like, what the fuck is going on here? Man, you really believe all this shit? You can't make this up. Nothing is this silly. I mean, this takes Barnum and Bailey circus to a whole new level of ridiculousness. I mean, this is like, Red Skeleton and the Three Stooges with Abbott and Costello. You know, I know. Okay, so what prompted this to do this when I'm normally having a Z attack at this time of the magnetics? Tucker Carlson. I went to, the video that I did, what was it, earlier, when I talked about holographic inserts, CGI, the plasma green TV, where they can shoot a scene, you know. As a matter of fact, let's say, for instance, go pick up Star System, right? And then go take a look at those planets, right? And then because of the landscape that exists there on that planet, would be a great movie set to shoot a movie, right? And then send it back remote, right? Hell, you see it, send it back in an email packet, just that fast, right? And then they can put it up on Fox News. And you didn't even know that what you're experiencing here on this planet was actually shot and filmed from Steven Spielberg out of Universal Studios and some other star system. Put it up on the local TV news. You wouldn't know, would you? Okay. You're not there, are you? Are you physically in the presence, actually experiencing it? It's a vibrational state at which you're experiencing the visible light spectrum, right? The holographic eyeballs. What's really going on here? The frame rate speed, the photosynthesis bands of what you're experiencing on the visible light spectrum. What's really going on here? So he was talking tonight about Trump, okay? About a birdie that's saying, hey, is the Justice Department going to go after President Trump? Was there any illegality involved over the election campaign? Because, they got to keep this drama going, right? Right. It's just like, keep the movie running. Just keep the silliness running. Just keep their minds occupied with this BS. Well, we got other things that we're doing on the sidelines, right? And so he was talking about how, for example, a buzzword, you know what hush money is? What an NDA is, a non-disclosure agreement? I know what a non-disclosure agreement is. I had to sign one of those, right? I had a top secret security clearance with the Department of Defense, U.S. Navy, and I held a Q clearance with the United States Department of Energy, which basically means it doesn't matter all the crimes that you see that are being committed here in the name of national security. We're going to commit a shit pot full of crimes here in your presence. And as a matter of fact, what we're doing here is going to ultimately, you're going to experience it in about 20 years through biological warfare, And so you keep your mouth shut. Okay? So you live in honor, don't you? Yes, I do. I'll tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They'll scrub your record and see how squeaky clean and how innocent you are. Oh, we got a live one. Give that boy a clearance, right? So now they know out of honor and being trustworthy, like a Boy Scout. Remember? I pledge allegiance to the war flag of a corporate, inorganic, quantum intelligence. I swear allegiance to artificial intelligence, that I will be a Mr. Smith, because the American flag is a war flag. Okay? So you're operating on behalf of an AI wargamer. Hey, you want to be a Mr. Smith for a day? Right? So you're not going to squeal, right? Like a stuck pig or a weasel. Right? Otherwise, they'll call you all kinds of names. They might come after and whack you for being what they call a snitch. Right? So I held a top secret security clearance. I was a good little boy. I didn't blab nothing to nobody. Right? So in this case, here's President Trump, and they investigated President Trump because this woman had come out and said, yeah, I had sex with President Trump. Right? So now they find out that he paid her X amount of dollars to keep her mouth shut. Called hush money. Now, here's the key in all this. Doesn't matter whether it's true or not, does it? If you believe it, what kind of a reaction state is that going to cause in you when you become aware of it? Ah, the AI is gaming. That's right. You're in a zoo game with an AI wargamer. Gaming for your consciousness energy on what you believe and don't believe is true. That's Fortran, true and false. Which one is it? Which one is it? Now we're back to the metronome. Which one is it? Positive, negative. Reaction states when those magnets open and close. Right? So the idea is that you'll throw all your money, right, into the gambling casino. Give all your money to the mob so they can put one of their gangsters running the military corporation on behalf of the Orders 100, which is actually minus 100. Minus 3, minus 300, minus 100. To keep the negative magnetic space game going, right? Sucking energy out of all the batteries. And so this is where the intelligence agencies come in and all the tracking, all the surveillance, all the implants, because the AI already knows. It's mapping everything that's going on biometrically, right? So the AI is going to provide the data, right? So they got the visual data. That's what the whole system was set up for, right? To obey your master, right? And this is what they're going to use as the justification. This is where we get into the Hegelian, what is the dialectic? We create the problem. We got a solution for you. So you'll build your own prison. Maze runners, Blade runners, the AI Blade runners, courtesy of the AI. That's right. And so now you see how this ping pong game is played over energy. Oh, I'm a good guy. I don't want you saying anything bad about me. Because all I have to do is hey, we know what we're going to do tonight? We're going to release it to 40 million people across Fox News and CNN. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. All we got to do is say it. And see what the reaction state is going to be of 40 million people that watch Fox News between 6 and 7 p.m. Matter of fact, we're going to put it on all 3 networks. How many people's that? Oh, that's roughly about 70 million people over the course of what? Oh, say 2.5 hours. Boy, we just sucked a lot of energy out of those batteries, didn't we? Editors, newspaper editors, mass media editors, mass electrical density consciousness editors editing the torsion field, right? The alphanumerical formatting, the reality streams, the fakeness, the illusion. I know. So in other words, Trump is back in the mindset again. And why is this important? So that it triggers stuff that's already held in memory that relates to what? The past. Future proofs past, back to the future. Keep running that hamster wheel. Getting nowhere fast. We're not making any headway. We're not going forward. Reruns. I know. It's one of the reasons I monitor these folks to see the rate of change and the speed. See, because you can actually, and I've done this, even though there's a lot of stuff I don't keep in memory anymore because I dump and circulate a lot of different libraries of stuff that's happening. But one of the things that I have found, particularly over the last week and a half, is a lot of the stuff that I was holding in memory, they're not there anymore. And that one, and particularly when it's related to dates, times, and words and letter associations with numbers as energy, as a result of what I mentioned before about when I come in and I'm 4 years of age and I'm allowing myself to program the language between what I experience other places, what I'm experiencing here, and why it is that I'm here for the work that I'm doing. And I mentioned before about just burn it all off, just delete it all, because anything that's less than what pure unconditional love isn't what I am. That's called an identity function. So I know what it is that I am by virtue of what I do with my energy. And it isn't what they do with theirs, right? So love is virtue, love is honor, right? So what happens is the driving force for all of this, particularly if I benchmark it when I was born, I hung out and was associated by virtue of where I was going through my parents and their friends and parents and teachers and adults and their children. More people were telling the truth about what they believed based on the programming, what they believed was true. But the important part about that is they had no reason to lie to anybody. And the reason that they didn't have any reason to lie to anybody was because friendship, enjoying thriving relationships with others, was an important value. That meant that I was associated with folks that put life and love for life first above everything else, which means that it didn't matter who you were. You were afforded love, honor, and respect for you just being in our mirror, just being present in the universe, because we gift eternal unconditional love unto all creation. Okay? So you could monitor over time, from the early 1950s when I became aware of it, more and more people were not only making a greater degree of mistakes as it's related to, if you will, performance, responsibility of the job. In other words, they don't seem to be able to carry out the math function of calculus very well, right? And so then you'd go, what's going on with their central nervous system? It doesn't seem to be firing properly. Either their memory's not working properly, either the level of their ability to process visual information, mathematical data, there seems to be some circuits messed up, right? So you realize, well, that's an effective unit. So you're monitoring circuits if you will, or a flow design of incoming electrical information, right? And the speed at which is represented by the core vibration of who they are, which is a measurement of their awareness, because you realize I'm very aware of what's going on, but they're not very aware of what's going on at all, because you can measure the speed of their core. Something's feeding on their battery, big time. So you're noticing more and more batteries are being fed on at a greater rate of speed. Wow, they realize they're running out of time. And then you can get into the distortion part of the endocrine system, the distortion of their waves between the magnets, the poles, right? Like running a clear channel, right? Yeah, I'm running a clear open receiver, baby, right? Frequency modulation, gain of function in my radio set. And so now you sort of see where we're sort of at now, depending on who you are and how you perceive the universe that you believe that you live in by virtue of the energy that we're using to experience it with, right? Which can be measured by the core vibration of our identities and the frequency modulation that we're modulating, you know. Hey, tune that in to 171.676. Stop. Hey, what's on that mic? Right? Key the mic. Key the mic. On, off, on, off, on, off. Which one are you? Which one are you? Now we're back to swivel heads. Buffoonery. That's a good word Octelli's come up with. Buffoonery. Yeah, the as we used to say when I was a kid, the shit is getting knee deep now. So it's like, who's running this dog and pony show now, right? And so it's not funny when you realize the casualty list. Okay, casualties of war, Star Wars. Right. That's why it's the end of history. Critical mass. When you reach critical mass, consciousness that has learned more about itself through neurons being connected to the source from which it all comes, there is a certain threshold in which it's like the insanity switch. We will tolerate only a certain level of insanity, and then the alarm goes off. Which is like self-acknowledgement, right? The universe is acknowledging itself, right? Through the sum of its ever-changing parts of communication, right? That we all have with everyone, all of us, right? So anyway, I wanted to share that because it's a way in which I release the buffoonery. You know, and it's all code talk. You know what code talk is? Code, right? So, example, there's a gazillion people that don't even watch these shows because they're not interested in what they have to say, because they realize that the whole system is fucked up, right? Right? I mean, all you have to do is just use a couple of standards, right? Honesty, truth, right? So you know what an isolate is? An isolate is, right? Yeah. Getting isolated, then purified. So purification. I certainly know what purification is about. I've been spending the last 20, well, since January 6th, 1992. That was total surrender. January 6th, 1992 was total surrender. I'm coming back home. That's it. That's it. The gifts from heaven. Thank you all. For all of you that have been here to help us make this all happen.